أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من أمزه ونفخه ونفثه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله إخوة الإيمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Now all praises are due to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made this program a reality. At times one will plan something, but Allah will not make it feasible. We have planned it and Allah has made it to come to pass. The issue we have come for tonight is not like the other previous programs I've been handling at this branch of MSSA. This time around is book review. And anytime a book is to be reviewed, we need to understand certain things. You know, the way Allah has created this world, Allah preserves His religion with scholars. When the scholars, when they are still alive, when they still take to their responsibilities, sincerely, the Ummah of Islam, they will be on khair, they will be on goodness and blessings. If the scholars are no more active in explaining the religion for the people, the ignoramuses, they will take control everywhere. They will now be spreading, fallacies and heresies. That is why we as Muslims, we need to be conscious of the fallacies and heresies of the ignoramuses. One of the ways through which Allah preserves His religion is through the works of scholars. At times, when we hear the names of some scholars, one will feel as if they died last year. And these are scholars who died centuries ago. For example now, people in Yoruba land, they name their children Bukhari, yes or no? Bukhari is not a name. Imam Muhammad bin Ismail al-Bukhari, the author, the popular compiler of that great book, Sahih al-Bukhari, people will think Bukhari died yesterday. This was a man who died more than 1,000 years ago. At times, when we read hadith and say, Rawahu al-Bukhari, the first thing that will come to your mind, this hadith is authentic. Now, let me listen to the lessons. Because of the word, great importance, Muslims attach to the work of who? Bukhari. Now, in this our own contemporary time, Allah has raised so many great scholars. Some are known in the Arab world. Some are known in the Western world. Some are known throughout the world. In fact, some write in Arabic, some write in English, some write in Urdu, some write in Hausa, some write in Yoruba. Different languages of the world. Why has Allah made it as such? For people of a particular tribe or of a particular nation to understand the Islam in its pristinity. One of such scholars is the author of the book we want to review today. The other time when the book was brought to me, sincerely, I've never read the book in my life before. When I was now going through the book, so many things came to my mind. In fact, I can say it vividly. I have a similar book under publication, whereby I'm trying to summarize certain important points, important practices, important concepts that Muslims, they need to comprehend. By the time I was now reading the book of this author, sincerely, I know by checking the title at the back, I now understand why the book has been picked. For what? For review. The book is like summary of what we need to understand. You know, the title of the book is In the Early Hours, Reflections on Spiritual and Self-Development. Spiritual development and what? Self-development. You know, in this one, in this time, when people are grossly engulfed in mundane affairs, when people are not much concerned about their spirituality, when people are less concerned about their self-development, this great author, he now put together salient points, certain relevant and cogent practices in this our pristine religion of Islam. Let's start. Before a book is to be reviewed, we need to know who the author of that book is. Likewise, if it is possible, why has he authored the book? If possible, what people have said. You know, at times, listen very well, all my books are published, with exception of few that I gave to some publishers, like those published by Spectrum, Rasmed, but all the books I published myself. If you check the back of my books, you see something, what people say about the book. All my books, you see it there. Do you know why? Not as a sign of showing that what you have written is okay, no. But you know, the nature of human being, you can't be perfect. You can't be what? Absolute perfection belongs to who? Allah. But at least when some people, when they read what you have researched upon, they will have one or two things to say. And let me tell you, what people say about you or about your work at times, it shows whether your book is valuable or not, whether your book deserves to be what? To be publicized or not, whether your book deserves to be reviewed or not, whether your book can be sold or not, whether your book can be recommended for the audience or not. These are some of the things. What people have said about this book of this great scholar, Khuram Murad, these are some of the areas I will briefly look into before coming to the work. Let me say it. This is around 8 now, if I'm not mistaken. If you stop this program by 11 p.m. tonight, sincerely I'm telling you, 5 hours will not be okay to review this great work. But what I will do is that the main points, we will learn a lot of things from the work. The author of the book, Khuram Murad, from his biography I got, he was given birth to in 1932 and he died in 1996. He's no more alive. He died 1990 what? 20 years ago. Do you know the first thing we need to learn from this? My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, at times I laugh about the contemporary youth when they are wasting their precious time on social media, on frivolous issues, on frivolous activities. The same issue that people argued for 2-3 months last year, they will still argue for it this year. They argued for it 3 years ago. 4 years ago, they argued for it. Can Tarawih be observed 11 rakah or 20 rakah? People argued for it last year Ramadan. 2 years Ramadan ago, they argued for it. If you observe 11 rakah, will Allah not accept it? If you observe 20 rakah and you add 3 rakah to it, will Allah reject it? Has that taken you out of Sunnah? People will continue wasting, and even some people, they will be using harsh words on each other. If it happens that one of the non-obligatory fasting falls on Saturday, can you observe it? You can't observe it. What if it's Yom Arafah? What if it's Yom this and that? Muharram 9 and 10. People argued it 3 years ago. They still argued it last year. You continue arguing it. Me, I've concluded in my, I will never contribute to such issue on social media. Where I will waste my precious. I can read what some people are right, but for me to waste my time, I will never do that in my life. I've done it in the past. Now, the time being wasted frivolously by some Muslims you will have used it to research on some topics on beneficial issues, write your books on it, and people will be reading it even after your what? After your death. The author is no more alive. 20 years ago he died, and his works are still with us. The author, he was a Pakistani, that is, he was born in Pakistan. Are we together now? And he is a prolific writer. He writes a lot. He had written so many books for Muslims. In fact, he actively participated in dawah activities, in calling people to Islam. His dawah activities reach Asia, Europe, Africa, and so many other continents in the world. Are we together? Are we together? According to his biography, he has really contributed to the spread of pristine Islam in the world, especially among the youth. This author, he writes, or the author of this book we are referring, he writes in English and Urdu. You know, Urdu is their local language over there. He has more than 50 books he wrote while alive. And he has so many lectures he did. In fact, some of his lectures and even this book we are referring is on the internet. I got it in so many websites. Even PDF format of this book is available. If you want to just type the title of the book on the Google, you see. I did it myself. You can download it. If you feel like you want to have a soft copy of the book. And so many other books by the author. He had so many books to his credit. And he had some of his lectures. In fact, more than 400 audio and video cassettes of his are in circulation. Even some are on some websites that one can download, be it in English or Urdu. Some of his other works are way to the Quran. Way to what? Way to the Quran. This book, I got summary of what it contains. You know, this book of Way to the Quran, the author, though that's not the book we are referring, but from the title, how a Muslim should take Quran. What should be our disposition to what? To Quran. The way Quran should be taken. You know, Quran to Muslims today, you see people, Muslims, you only read Yasin, Isawaka. You see the pages of their Yasin and Isawaka very black. Other pages, very neat. Is that how Quran should be taken? The author wrote a book. Key to Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah. He wrote a book on that. The Quranic treasures. That's another work by the author. Then Islam, the easy way. That is another book by the author. Who is Muhammad? This is about personality and biography of Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Gifts from Muhammad. Gifts. That book is on Sunnah. Certain things that Prophet sallam, you know, he taught Muslims that we have neglected them. Sharia, the way to justice. Another book by Quram Murad. Are we together? Interpersonal relations. This is a course that some people will go and study in university, and he wrote a book on it. If you want to know Islamic perspective, just get his own book. The way a particular scholar was invited to one international conference about human rights, Islamic perspective. And that scholar, you know what he did? He said, you have invited me to this international conference to discuss human rights, Islamic perspective. I will even not discuss on human rights in Islam. I will discuss about animal rights. By the time you know animal rights, you will know if Islam has honored animals like this, use that to judge Islam on human rights. You know, Allah has endowed some people. Interpersonal relations is cause that some people who go and study in the university. What is Islamic point of view on it? He wrote a book on that. In the early hours, reflections on spiritual and self-development. That is the book we are reviewing. Sacrifice, the making of a Muslim. It's another book by the author. Dawah among non-Muslims in the West. We need this book, even here in Nigeria. Islam and terrorism. The Islamic movement, dynamics of values, power and change. Islamic movement in the West, reflections on some issues. Dying and living for Allah. Another book. by the author. He wrote so many other books in Urdu, which I have more than like around 20 here, but the pronunciation may be the problem. Since I don't speak Urdu, let us leave that. Then this book we are reviewing, what people say about this book of his in the early hours. Are we together? So many people have commented. They have rated the book. People who have read the book, who have studied the book, this is what some of them they remarked on the book. One of the people, he said, this book of Quran Murad, he said, very simple book on purifying a believer's life and actions. Simple step-by-step lessons with Quran and Hadith references. Also written very friendly and short paragraphs, easy for beginners, and also good for advanced readers who would like to read into Islamic reminders. Who said this? Jarir. One of the people who have read this book, this is the comment he made about the book in the early hours written by Quran Murad. Are we together? Are we together? Another reader, Aisha, in her own comment, she said, in the early hours by Quran Murad is number 9 on my list. You know, in her library, she said this book is what? It's number 9 on her list. Are we together now? But it's actually the third favorite book in my library after the Quran. After the Quran and Hadith, that is the third book. It is also one of the shortest of books, only 145 pages. The one he possessed. But the one I'm having with me, that one too, you can say it's 145, but some other notes is 147. Let's say she's correct. 145 pages. Are we together now? How many pages? 145 pages. She remarked that in the early hours is the book that sparked my focus on self and spiritual development. I reread it several times a year. What she has said, she is correct. You know, by the time you read the book for the first time, you may still not comprehend certain things there. Are we together? Not only this book. That's why our pious predecessors, you will see them, they will read a book, they will reread it for more than 20, 50, 40 times. That's why I do tell some of our brothers, I do tell myself, that even some of the books we normally quote, have we really understood the book? If you can see some Sahaba, some pious predecessors, some Salaf, they will read a particular book several times. And the nature of Allah is this: by the time you are reading something, the more you comprehend what it entails. Yes or no? She said several times she will read the book several times within a what? Within a year. That was the comment and remark of who? Of Aisha. She said, it is a reminder of our purpose in this life. It gives you a practical guide in beginning a life of spiritual development. I say life because I believe it is a lifelong journey. What is lifelong journey? Spiritual development and self-development. Another man, Sayyid Ahmad Fatahi, Muhammadul Khair, in his own remark, he said, I will stop here because we have not even discussed the book. I'm only telling you what people have said about the book. He said every once in a while, we have to sit down and reflect on our life. What we have achieved. Is it heading on the right direction? This book encompasses on that subject. On that what? Subject. The subject on reflection or tazkiyah. Ustaz Quran Murad gave a powerful guidance on how we should reflect on our life with pervasive examples, while the modern worldview promotes economic growth at all costs. One should understand that there are more than just this world and its material gain. The world is only a passing station. Please, have you understood what? I still have more than 10 people here, but because by the time we are reading what people, even the book itself, we need to know what it entails. Are we together now? The author of this book, may Allah reward him, he chapterized the book into 7. The book has how many chapters? 7 chapters. And what the author, what he did, is that at the end of each chapter, the summary, you know, that's a powerful way. If you see some textbooks being recommended for students in schools, especially in primary and secondary school, one of the methods we normally use is the method they have used in this book. I wrote Islamic studies for Spectrum, primary 1 to primary 3, and GS1 to GS3. After each topic, you now write summary of the lesson. That's how we normally do. You know, you as a teacher, by the time you have read the summary, you will know how to summarize the whole note for the student. You know, that's why some teachers now, they want to kill the students. This era, when students are becoming lazy, they are not ready to read. They can read all these small abbreviations because BECOS, the only D. That's what's affecting them in writing WAEC now. You see SS3 students writing letters. You say Allahu Akbar. You feel ashamed of yourself. SS3 student. Social media has greatly affected them. They don't know spellings of so many words now. Because of what? Abbreviations. I know a father. He has warned his children, if you want to send text message to me, even if you have to spend 5 pages, don't ever abbreviate anything in your life. If you abbreviate, you will now rewrite it in full letters. He will now send it back to you. Resend the message to me. You are silly. Why abbreviating? He said that will affect you. By the time you are now writing, you continue writing rubbish. You know, summary is very essential in any work. That's one of the, you know, the beauties of this book. After the end of each chapter, the summary will do what? Will follow. In the chapter 1 of the book, the author, he focuses on the process of self-development. Are we together? You know, this self-development, according to the author, it is what is being referred to as tazkiyah. And we have tazkiyah to nafs. Tazkiyah to is more than self-development. Self-purification. You know, we as Muslims, if you know what Allah says, the author, he brought so many verses and so many hadith buttressing the concept of tazkiyah. But I want to focus on some of the evidences or the proofs he brought. Like the verse of Surah Shams, where Allah is vowed with what? With our soul. Wa nafsin wa ma sawa'a fa'alhamaha fujuraha wa taqwaha qad aflaha man zakah. The author brought the verse. Successful indeed is the one who purifies his own self. By his own self here, he means his own soul. You know, this time around, when you see Muslims are after fashion. You see, everybody, let me start from our sisters now. That's why so many sisters these days, they upload their pictures on social media. They want to advertise their what? Their fashion. Is it your fashion, your beauty, you need to advertise, or your intellect, your knowledge? Your beauty depreciates, yes or no? By the time you are married, you give birth to children, first child, second child, third child, sincerely, you yourself, even if your child sees the picture of your wedding, for example, mommy, are you this one? And you are old, and you are very, you know, you become like Mama Arugo. By that time, that is nature of human being. Beauty what? Depreciates. Let us go and check our grandma now. Some of them now, can you marry them? A grandma of 80 years. No matter how beautiful she was when she was around age 18, 19, 20, she will not be like that now. Beauty depreciates. That is what we are now wasting our time on. You see someone spending 45 minutes in the bathroom. What are you bathing? Say just to put water on the head with soap with your sponge, the next 3, 4, 5 minutes, you leave the bathroom. No. Like one of my female students, the mother reported her that she will spend 1 hour. I said maybe she needs book care. Come on, see any toilet. I don't know. Why spend 1 hour in the toilet? What are you bathing? Say just for you to use water, to use soap, that shows something is wrong. Don't be surprised. She will bath face for 10 minutes. The armpit, another 10 minutes. The nails, another 10 minutes. The head, another 10. What is your problem? You want to turn to a bow? Even if you turn to a bow now, you now turn to what? To gold or diamond. People, they waste time. After that, after spending like 1 hour in the bathroom, now she wants to dress up. She wants to use cream, 30 minutes to cream her body. She wants to use powder, 15 minutes for powder. Lipstick, another 20 minutes for lipstick. She has now spent like 1 hour, 20 minutes for makeup. Sincerely, something is wrong with you. Something is seriously affecting you. But when it comes to self-development, people are not conscious of this. And the author is said, when we are talking of our personality, it comprises our physical appearance and our spiritual aspect of life. Let us take note of that. When we are talking of our personality now, it is not only about your physical fitness, about your body alone. Your soul is part of it. Yes or no? That is why when you have a psychological problem, your body may be okay, but psychologically when you are disturbed, you know something is wrong with you. But people nowadays, spiritually, they are not concerned about their what? Spiritual development. They waste time on their what? On their physical appearance. And Allah says, successful indeed is the one who purifies his own self, that is his soul. Someone who is much concerned about his spiritual development. Likewise, we need to know, as Muslims, it is through this spiritual development that we will attain velocity. It is through it we will what? We will gain paradise. Called the aflaha man zakkaha wa qad khaba man dassaha. If you have corrupted your soul, indeed you are among the losers. Indeed you have failed woefully, but you are successful, you are prosperous. Once you have purified your what? Your soul. You are after your self and spiritual development. Are we together? The author, he also made it known that when we are talking of a good Muslim, what should be his own focus is Al-Jannah. Is what? Paradise of Almighty Allah. He brought Quran chapter 9 verse 111, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has purchased our soul, our lives, and he promised us paradise in return. Now, as a Muslim, what should be our utmost goal is how to gain admission into University of Paradise. University of what? Paradise. If you are not admitted into that institution, you are doomed. If you are the richest man in the world, once you die, you are not admitted to University of Paradise, wallahi, you are doomed. You are ruined. You will even forget that you have even enjoyed anything while on this earth surface. Now, to attain that paradise, we need to understand certain things. What the author is trying to drive at is that before you can gain admission to this paradise we are talking about, it has to do with your what? Self-development. It has to do with your what? Spiritual development, not your physical appearance. You know some people, they will be very beautiful in this world and they will still enter hell. And some people will be ugly. In fact, let me tell you, some people in this world, they will be blind. They will be what? They will be blind. And in the hereafter, they will still enter paradise. They will still enter what? Paradise. As a Muslim, your ultimate goal should be what? Should be paradise. And in attaining this paradise, you need to know you work for it. You do what? You work for it. Paradise is not for free. As Muslims, the author is trying to let us understand that by the time we have already concentrated on our soul, that I want my final abode to be paradise, we need to work towards it. You will now have your own mission. Your own what? Your own mission. You know, for any establishment, for any institution, for any company, there must be mission and what? And vision. Once you don't have mission and vision, sincerely, you may not achieve anything. You may not achieve anything. As Muslims, the author is trying to tell us that once you have resolved to attain paradise, you need to ask yourself, what are the requirements of gaining admission into this paradise? Are we together? He said, you as a Muslim, you need to be a mu'min, a believer in Allah. And you need to be a what? A mujahid. Someone who is striving to the cause of Allah. When the word mujahid is mentioned, some people, they will misconstrue it. Mujahid is a Muslim who is practicing Islam and is also striving in inviting people to the pristine teaching of Islam. You know our problem. Most of us, we do our Islam in isolation. In what? In isolation. We don't invite people. You know what happens to Christians? If you go to the radio, one of our brothers, there was a time, I think they wanted to sponsor one Ramadan program. You know, Muslims, we only sponsor program in Ramadan, yes or no? Yes. After Ramadan, maybe only a few people. They went to one station here in Ibadan to pay for 30 days of Ramadan. When a particular Christian denomination brought millions of naira for program of a year, 4 hours in a month times 12, they paid for like a year. This is the money. Though at times I do tell people, you don't need to compete with those people. You know why? Whatever they are doing, it's not only to spread their religion, it's a business. I can't even say, is it the bank that is more profitable or establishment of churches? Do you get what I'm saying? Churches are not always liquidate. Because the members will pay what? They will pay what? They will pay their tithe. And you know, the higher the population of the tithe payers, the more profitable the churches will be. But we Muslims, that Allah has promised us paradise, are we ready to be believers in Allah? And are we ready to strive in propagating His word, His religion? You are only practicing your Islam. You don't invite people. We need to think of this. Are we together? The author, he also explained that there are certain prerequisites to self-development and self-spiritual development. You know, as Muslims, number one, you need to understand that the first thing is your own personal responsibility. Your responsibility towards Allah, your responsibility towards religion of Islam, your responsibility towards human beings, your responsibility towards your own self. Please, are we together? This your own responsibility will assist you in purifying your soul. We need to understand this. We need to understand this. Likewise, we need to know that shaitan is there. Shaitan at times, when you are trying to develop yourself spiritually, shaitan will be whispering into your heart. As Muslims, you need to know shaitan is your enemy. That's number one. And in the hereafter, this same shaitan will now oppose you before Almighty Allah. In Surah Ibrahim, Quran chapter 14, verse 22. Shaitan will be saying on the day of judgment that I invited you and you responded to me. I invited you. First tajab to morning. You know what? You responded to my call. So don't blame me. Don't blame me today. Blame yourselves. Shaitan that is even causing some people to neglect Allah, to neglect religion, to neglect self-development. Shaitan will not be telling you the year after that I've only invited you. There are some people that did not even respond to me, but you responded. Don't blame me today. Blame yourself. As Muslims, we need to be conscious of this. Then the authors, he mentioned some other things, which, because there are so many key points in chapter 2 and 3 and 4 that I don't want us to lose those aspects. Then one of the things that the author mentioned that warrants calling our attention to is the issue of how to manage our time. How to manage what? The best use of our time is one of the points that I will not love leaving that point because of the way contemporary Muslims, they waste their time. The author, he made it known that when we are talking of money or gold, our time is more valuable than gold and money. Please, do you agree with me? Your time is more precious than gold and money. Your time is your life. You know, if you lost your money, let's assume now, I lost a particular amount of money this morning. The next 1 week, I may regain that money, yes or no? The time wasted can never be regained. Yes or no? The time wasted can never be regained. Gold, let's assume you lost your gold yesterday, you can still get something that is even, more valuable than your gold the next 24 hours. But time is not like that. As Muslims, we need to structure our time. We need to arrange our regular devotions. How are we going to spend our time? How are we going to manage our time judiciously? That is very, very essential in the life of a good Muslim who is working towards, developing himself spiritually. Let us take note of this. On the issue of wasting our time too, the author said, your time is your life, and your life is your capital. It is the basis of your what? Of your transactions with God, and the means to attain to everlasting felicity. Our time will dictate whether we will see Allah's pleasure or Allah's love. See the way we have sat down in the UCH mosque tonight. We have come here purposely to listen to Allah's words. Yes or no? Is there anybody who has come here maybe because we want to distribute maybe bags of rice given to us by one politician? Is there anybody who has come here because of that? Or we want to take our own share of $2.1 billion, shared among the cabals in Nigeria? Maybe Dazuki is coming here to give you your own share. Who knows? Maybe he has sent your own to you. That's why you have come here. We have only come because of Allah. You get it now? We have only come here for Allah alone. If that is the issue, as Muslims, some Muslims are still wasting their time on deeds, on actions that will fetch them nothing except Allah's wrath. Be careful. If you see a Muslim wasting his time chatting with opposite sex on the internet, sending pictures, something happened recently. Sincerely, I felt bad. Wallahi, a sister in hijab, full hijab, even with glove. Wallahi, it was someone who called our attention to that evil. And that sister happened to be one of the sisters I've taught. I said no problem, I will verify. This is the sister that put her picture on the internet. And that person told me some other things about her. I said, let me verify. I said, I now call her, bring your phone. Bring your phone. She can't resist that. I want to check your WhatsApp, I want to check your this and that. Wallahi, one just need to keep silent. A sister using hijab, wallahi, I'm inside the mosque. I swear by Allah, who created me? Who will take away my soul? The sister was sending a picture a picture without hijab to a brother. Wallahi. Do you know any of that? You don't know how grievous it is before Allah. A brother you have not legally married to, even if the brother has approached you, you don't need to be sending your. That's why so many evils are going on among Muslims. If someone has approached, I want to marry you, you don't need to give many of your pictures. You are not legally. What of tomorrow? If you are, a sister I knew also, she did that. She later regretted it. By the time the brother, they were not marrying each other again. Tactically, while she got the phone of the brother, she deleted all her pictures. I said, what of if the brother has not used the phone for you? When they had Discord, she now deleted all the pictures. Do you know whether the brother has saved some on his Yahoo mail, on his WhatsApp page, on his Facebook? Even if he has deleted those ones on the phone, he will still get it back on the internet. Is it that not possible? Is it not possible? You see people wasting their time, chatting, sending pictures, do so many evils. Some people, you see them talking. After Subi, they will not read a scar. You see, at times when I see comments of some people in the night, some people will not sleep in the night. They will not have chatting, commenting on internet. Subhanallah. Some Muslims, they waste their time. Chelsea, Arsenal. The author is calling our attention. When we are talking of self-development and spiritual development, you need to know the best use of your what? Of your what? Of your time. Of your time. Let us leave this aspect because of the time. And we have a lot, because there are so many other aspects in the world that I'm even interested in. Chapter 2, a life of remembrance. A life of what? Remembrance. This chapter 2, my dear brothers in Islam, may Allah reward the author. It discussed so many beneficial issues. The author, he made it known that when we are talking of remembrance of Allah, dhikr, he gave us the significance of remembrance of Allah. You know, Allah himself, he commanded us in Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran chapter 2 verse 152, remember me and I shall remember you. Be grateful unto me and deny me not. Fadhkuruni adhkurukum washkuruni wala takfurun. You know, as Muslims, we need to be remembering Allah in all our endeavors. You want to eat, you need to remember Allah. You want to put on your garment, you need to remember Allah. You want to sleep, you need to remember Allah. Anything you want to do, you need to remember Allah. And the author, he brought one hadith al-Qudusi where Allah said, but Prophet Salam will be the one that narrated to the companion, that I treat my servant as he hopes me. Ana inda dhanni abdi. I will treat him. It depends on the way you treat Allah, that Allah will treat you. And I'm with him whenever he remembers me. If he remembers me in his heart, I remember him in my heart. If he remembers me in a gathering, I remember in a gathering far better than that gathering. Let us say you remember Allah in the gathering of 2-3 persons. Allah will remember you in the gathering of who? The angels. The angels la yaqulu wa la yashrabu wa la yanamu la ya'suna Allah ma amaru wa yaf'aluna ma yumarun. Do you want to compare yourself with angels who are sinless, who are infallible? We need to be remembering Allah in all our endeavors. Then, while talking on significance of remembering Allah, the author brought Quran chapter 2 verse 198, Quran chapter 3 verse 41 to 42, and so many other verses. That, actually, let me use that of Surah Al-Ahzab. That is, all you who believe, ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, udhkurullaha dhikran kathira, udhkurullaha dhikran kathira, wasabbihuhu bukratan wa asila. Bukratan. This verse, I will use it because of 2 areas I want to focus. Number 1, we as Muslims, Allah ordered us in this chapter that we need to remember him with much remembrance. Dhikran kathira. What is the meaning? Anything you want to do, remember Allah. Anything you want to do, remember who? That is dhikran kathira. Remembrance of Allah is not restricted to when you are observing salat. It's not limited to when you are reading Azkaru Sabah, the prayer, morning and evening Azkar. It's more than that. You leave your house, you remember Allah. Bismillah tawakkaltu ala Allah. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. You want to eat, Bismillah. Allahumma barik lana fima razaqtana wa qina adhaban nar. You want to sleep, Bismika Allahumma amutu wa ahya, Bismika rabbi wa dhatu jambi wa bika rufa'u, in amsakta nafsi till the other, Allahumma qina adhabaka, yawma tabathu ibada. So many azkar. You remember Allah. Dhikran kathira. And part of dhikran kathira at times, whenever you are less busy, your leisure time, use it to remember Allah. Let us assume you are traveling from Ibadan to Kano. Ibadan to Kano is around 10 to 12 hours journey. Are we together now? Instead of you wasting your time in the vehicle, you can be reciting Quran. You know, with Ibadan and Kano, you can finish 1/3 of the Quran. Do you agree with me? If you don't want to read Quran, you want to do Azkar. Astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina subhana rabbi amdi. Dhikran kathira. As Muslims. Wasabbihu bukratan wa asila. Allah now focus on the morning and in the what? In the evening. That is why we have morning and evening Azkar from the Holy Prophet Sallallahu. Majority of Muslims, they don't do morning and evening Azkar. We in Nigeria, if I don't know other country, that is why as Muslims, number one, I do encourage my students, memorize all these Azkar. I have memorized those Azkar of morning and evening. At times, you need to leave your house on time, especially if you are living in a state like Lagos. If you leave your house by 5, 6, sincerely, you may reach your office by 11, 12. Lagosians, there was a day I slept in Lagos. I went for a program to deliver a lecture. The man told me, sir, you leave here by 3:34. Which kind of life? I agree with the brother. Wallahi, by the time we reach a place, around 4:35, there were crowds. I was even around 5 a.m. And generally, let's call you. Is it all these are they human beings or jinn or demons? Around 5 a.m., sincerely, there was so dark. Voila, they alone. Even if I see a job of 10 million, I can never live in Lagos. I was brought up here, and I lived for some years in Ilorin when I was at the University of Ilorin, and I served in Yobe. All those environments where I've lived, I've never seen anything that is as rowdy as Lagos State. I don't think I can live in such environment and even survive. Sincerely, I credit you that you are from Lagos. So Lagos for sure. Center of excellence, Abi. Center of evils. May Allah save you, brothers, that are living in Lagos. Sincerely, there are certain things in Lagos, no matter how pious you are, you will be affected. Only that your piety will do what? Will control it. Ọlọ́run ìlégbé kó èkó máa dírà rẹ mọ́ láìláìláìlá ìwà àwọn ìdíkò ní 4 a.m. irú orí ibú wo no wọ́n wù náà that shows some brother may not even do tahajjud. Ẹbá ní mọ́nì ní òjì 3 nígbà ọba tó tó one hold up. By the time you are coming in the night, you reach home around 11. You are exhausted. You still manage to sleep. By 3 you wake up again. Ẹ̀yin ẹ̀yà rẹ̀ kò tètè máa kú o. Sincerely, you know at times when you stress yourself more than necessary, it affects you and it affects ibadah. Please, wasabbihu bukratan wasila. In the morning and evening, you need to glorify Allah. This is the time that people are already on the way. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., they are no more in their house. All because they are running away for what? Serious traffic jam. Now, when we are talking of dhikr, the author, he made it known that as Muslims, the dhikr that will be beneficial is the one where you combine your tongue and your what? Your heart. Please, let us take note of this. I do laugh at some of our Muslims. See, Afa, You are talking to him and he holds back and he's still doing as if he's counting something. Someone you are speaking, you are discussing together, and he's still doing as if he's doing a scam. Which kind of a scam? You are talking to someone and you are still doing a scam. No. Your heart should be present, not only your tongue. That is why so many Muslims today, they do a scam with their what? Tongue. And their heart is not present. People are even turning to something of amusement. That kind of dhikr will not be beneficial for the one saying it. We need to be careful. Now, the author, he made mention of methods of dhikr here, which, because of the time, I will leave it. I will do what? I will leave it. So, with the little I've said about the dhikr, let us just hold on to that. Relating to Allah, there are some cogent points I love too much under this heading. Relating to who? To Allah, our Creator. Under this aspect, the author, he did something. May Allah reward him. You know, as Muslims, we are talking of self-development and spiritual development. Are we developing ourselves spiritually because of worldly benefits? I'm asking. Is it because of worldly benefits? No. Your spiritual life, the work it does, your mundane life can never do it. I do tell people, do you know the problem we're having? Spiritually, Muslims are dead. And enemies of Allah, they are working towards that. See all the food we take now. They will mix haram ingredients with it. You will now be doubting. Keneka E formula, Keneka K formula. Is this one having Keneka? As Muslims, what we consume, they are after it. Enemies of Allah. Once you are consuming haram spiritually, you are declining. The work we do. I'm talking to doctors now. Go to the town. Majority of doctors, they get their richness from abortion, teenage abortion. Like a case of one doctor was reported to me by a female sister who enrolled in that hospital. In a week, they did not abort at all. They will abort nothing less than 9. That is where they get money. And I know ethically it's not ideal. Yes or no? But they will do it. You get it now? Do you agree that some people, that's where they get their richness? Because those small girls, you see them, they fornicate around. They can't control their sexuality. Once they get pregnancy, they know the doctors, and another problem, they will now invite their calibers to those doctors. You do not see your menstruation again. Dr. Asen is in that area. He will terminate it for you. When we are talking of spiritual development, you need to relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The time you need spirituality, your physical fitness will not work then. See people like Imam Muhammad ibn Taymiyyah, they will use their shoe, even their slippers, to beat someone that was possessed by jinn, and the jinn will run away. With their what? Their what? Slippers. Not with their Quran, not with their turban, not with their cap, not with their prayer mat. They are what? Slippers they use in the toilet. You don't understand what I'm trying to say. Do you think it is the slippers that is working? What is working? Their spirituality. The level of their spiritual development. The author, he made it known that as Muslims, we need to hold on to Allah. That will cause Allah to guide us to the right path. And he brought that verse in Surah Al-Imran, verse 101. وَمَنْ يَعْتَصِمْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ هُدِيَ إِلَىٰ صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Whoever holds on to Allah, he has already been guided onto a what? A straight one. He now gave features, characteristics of holding onto Allah. You, as a Muslim, if you want to be among those that will be guided to Siratul Mustaqim, you know Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he wrote a book, Iqtidau Siratul Mustaqim, Mukhalafatu Ashabil Jahim. You know Siratul Mustaqim, you know we pray for it every day. Sirat. You don't know the meaning of Siratul Mustaqim. We need to know the meaning of Siratul Mustaqim, the straight way, the straight path. That is the path of all prophets of God. If you want to be guided to the straight way, to Siratul Mustaqim, you need to possess some characteristics. Are we together? Thankfulness to Allah. Ashukru lillah. Ashukru. You as a Muslim, you need to be grateful and thankful to Allah. If Allah does any favor for you, you thank Allah on your wealth. You thank Allah on your health. You thank Allah on your status. You thank Allah on your intellectual abilities and life. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, do you think you are the most brilliant students in the world? That is why you are admitted to this level of learning. Yes or no? You are the most brilliant, yes? Huh? You are the most brilliant. Well, so many they are more brilliant than you do there. They did not get any admission. Even some got admission, they could not get the money to pay school fees. I know one of our brothers, anytime his issue came to my mind, I do feel pity for the brother. Wallahi, very intellectual, very brilliant, very respectful, very hopeful, very futuristic. But the brother could not get finance. He left the university. You are not, every time, you don't appreciate Allah. And because you see your cosmate, his father just bought one Land Cruiser for him, and he drives that Land Cruiser to the university. You now feel Allah has not done you any favor. How many times daily are you thanking Allah for your health? Say, the year is UCH. I don't need to be telling you that you need to go to UCH. Even when we are in the town, we normally say, just go to UCH. And we are already in UCH now. I will not tell you go to UCH. I will tell you, go to your place where you are already in. You thank Allah. Are you not the ones that want the leg of people? And they will be shouting, you know, even when, like I can recollect, one day, when I delivered lecture in this UCH, one of your brothers asked me that, why we doctors, if people die, we don't normally cry. A brother in this UCH asked me, I know some of you may be in that lecture, in this UCH. Do you know why? It's something that you see every day. It is not meaningful to you again. So need to be a doctor. That shows something is wrong. And you don't need nǹkan ní yàtọ̀ sí pé èèyàn kú tí ó jẹ́ kẹ́mi yẹn máa gbọ̀n. Bóyá accident ni o, bóyá kẹ́ máa wo picture àwọn tó jù ní Jahannama ni o. That will make you to be fearful of God. You know, we that we are outside, if someone dies and we see it, the next 2-3 days, wallahi, the fear will still be in us. Lágbájá kú, ṣùgbọ́n èèyàn kú, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bókù gbénú ilé, tẹ́ ń lọ mọ́ṣúárì. You know, that will not, you get what I'm saying now. And this is something that we, somewhere else, if someone dies, the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, the agony will still be in us. You need to be thankful to Allah on your health, on your wealth, on your status, on your intellectual abilities, and on your life in general. For you to do this, sincerely, you will be among those who are relating successfully with who? With who? With Allah. Thankfulness. Let us take note of that. Let me ask, have you ever observed any 2 rakah that, oh you Allah, this 2 rakah is just to appreciate you, that I'm living on the earth? Oh you Allah, this 2 rakah that I have hand to eat, not that someone is even the one feeding me. Allah, I thank you that the lecturer is talking. and they are not even using sign language to interpret it for me. Don't know some people. If you see, in some programs now, you see this brother from FC in Oyo, the brother with sign language. You see, they will now be using their hand to one finger to touch another, to touch their head, to touch their lip, and they are demonstrating. And those people will still understand. Even those who they still use sign language to communicate to, they need to thank Allah. Say they have eyes. That is why they can see someone. What of if you are blind and you are deaf and you are still paralyzed? Will you take Allah to Supreme Court or Court of Appeal? Please, let us be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, worshiping Allah. For you to be a good servant that is relating successfully with his creator, you need to worship Allah. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah called us, Ya ayyuhan nas, u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. O mankind, worship your Lord alone, who has created you and those before you, so that you may attain piety, righteousness, taqwa. When we are talking of worship, we need to understand that as Muslims, we need to worship Allah. And let me tell you, other creatures, they worship Allah. Walakin la tafqahuna tasbihahu. If you feel arrogant, you are pompous, you feel like, how will I be worshiping Allah? How will I be observing? How will I be fasting? How will I be using hijab? I that I'm very beautiful, I'm very pretty. The way some people will be deceiving you, where some ladies, I don't want to call them sisters, some girls, some ladies, they upload their pictures on social media. Some people will be deceiving them. Very good, very pretty, very nice. God specially created you on Saturday. The day someone commented that, well, what did you do? You want to call Allah for the ways to be Saturday. Àlùwàlá olóńgbò ọgbọ́n kíni o àti kẹ́ran jẹ just to deceive you. Are you thinking thanks lórí ẹ ti dàrú nù. God specially created you on Saturday. You are queen, you are angelic, you are dandani, you are homogotic, and you too, you are feeling happy. Better remove your pictures from social media. You don't need it. You as Muslims, you need to be worshiping your Lord every time. Other creatures, they worship Allah. You will not understand, you will not comprehend the way they worship Allah. Are we together? Are we together? The author, he said, as a Muslim, you need to ensure that your heart submits totally and wholeheartedly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fi silmi kaffa wa la tattabi'u khutuwati shaitan. Let me explain this aspect. Some Muslims, they worship Allah. They believe Allah alone is not sufficient. They now take some other things in addition to Allah and worship. We need to be careful of this. May Allah assist us. Now, under this act of worship we are talking about, we need to make sure that our loyalty, our intention, our aims and objectives of observing worship should be for Allah and Allah alone. No problem. Then, by the time you are worshiping Allah, and you are still having something at the back of your mind, Allah may not reward you. That calls for sincerity in worship. According to scholars of Tawheed, for any act of worship to be accepted, 3 conditions must be what? Must be met. One of which is what? Ikhlas, sincerity in worship. Whatever you do, when we are talking of worship, it's not salat alone. If you do sadaqah, you spend on the cause of Allah, it's what? Worship. You go to Umrah, it's worship. You did Quran, worship. You do Azkar, worship. You admonish people, worship. You command what is good, you forbid what is evil, worship. Whatever you do, you must do it for the sake of who? Of Allah, not for worldly sake. not for material gains. Are we together? Imagine a sister who is using hijab. She got married to a rich Muslim brother. Later, they had clashes and marital discord, and divorce occurred. Do you know the next thing? She removed her hijab. She removed her hijab. The first question, if your former husband divorced you, as Allah divorced you, as Allah, you are now divorcing Allah because your former husband divorced you. You are now transferring aggression to who? To who? And Allah will destroy you. Allah will just punish you. Allah will just look at you. Millions of you, if you are not using hijab, it doesn't affect anything in me. A brother, indeed, who got a job. He got a what? Job. Immediately he finished university. He went for NYC. After NYC, he did itikaf. He was supplicating to Allah. And after NYC, immediately, he got a very lucrative job. And he was sacked. He said, Allah, without this my worship, without this my sin, without this my scan, am I supposed to be sacked? He now wanted to attend another interview. He felt the first thing is for him to show the beard. The second thing is to pretend it. It's for him to pretend as if he was not a Muslim, that I only have Muslim name on my certificate, just because he was looking for what? For lucrative job. Are you fighting with Allah? You are still alive. You need to be thanking Allah. What of those people that you graduated together and up to now they have not secured any job? Sincerely, we need to check our sincerity. People nowadays, you see a brother spending on his sister, not for Allah, you pretend as if for Allah, but you tell them why to family and the kind. And the day you saw the invitation of the sister, Allah, you have made my life. You have to have understood my intention. Only that I was being shy. I don't know how to present it to you. Allah, I really love you. Yeah. All the money I spent on you since all these days. That is how the reward ended. No reward again. No reward again. We need to be careful. Anything we want to do, we need to do it for Allah. The author brought one hadith from Masnad of Imam Ad-Darimi, where Prophet Sallam said that many are those that Ruba saw him. Many are people that will fast, but they get nothing from their fasting except what? Illa al-ju' wal atash, except hunger and what? And thirst. Do you know what has affected them? They did not fast for Allah. Anything you want to do and you want to be rewarded by Allah, you do it for Allah. And who? And Allah alone. Let us take note of that. Love of Allah. Hubbullah. Hubbullah. Love of Allah. For you to relate successfully with Allah, you need to develop profound love in who? In who? In Allah. Now, I'm talking to doctors now. Are you telling me you don't love your profession? Probably some of you, maybe you wrote down like 3, 4, 5 times. Probably. All because you wanted to study medicine. You wanted to study nursing. You wanted to be in medical line. Do you get it now? I heard of a brother who wanted to study something like veterinary medicine. The father said, no, I don't want you to study medicine. My father, I love to be doctor of animals than doctor of human beings. Because this is what I want from you. I will do it from a very good brother, is where I heard this story, that it happened. Then, okay, for me to be an obedient child, I will do your wish. And he studied medicine for 7 years. And after that, my father, I think I'm now a doctor. This is certificate. This I want to do for my own wish. The father felt ashamed. Ọmọ asọ́wọ́ náà wò lélẹ̀. Tínú gbọ́wọ́ mi ti di medical doctor. He said, my father, I don't want to be a disobedient child. I think now I'm an obedient child. Now, let me do what I love. The brother, he went ahead to study veterinary medicine. That's what he loves. When we are talking of love of Allah, I do ask myself, really, do I love Allah? The author, he emphasized on this, that Allah in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 165, Allah says that those who have Iman and love Allah more than anything else, for you to be a believer, you need to love Allah more than what? Anything else. A test. A what? A test. I want to give you a test, whether you pass or not. Are we together now? Let me tell you, if Allah wants something and your profession wants something, which one will you give priority to? If you say Allah, I will now mention some cases where you yourself you may fail. You now need to ask yourself, do I really love Allah? Do I really love Allah? If you love Allah, you obey Allah. You do whatever Allah loves. If your husband, he commands you to do something, Allah commands you to do something, you obey Allah. I know of a sister who reduced the length of her hijab purposely because of her love for her husband. I know this. I even have her number on my phone. One of my sisters will get to the University of Ilorin then. If you as a man, I know another brother, though I do call him that before he got married, the sister told him, if you want to marry me, not that I can't marry, I love you, but you promise me you will never marry any other woman in your life. Even if she doesn't give birth to any child. Some people, they are morons. How can a woman give you such condition when that woman doesn't know the future? What of if she dies? What of if she doesn't give birth to any child? What of? Khadija never gave Prophet that condition, and Prophet never married any other woman until she died. Her character called for that. Prophet never thought of any other woman. You know, at times when you derive 101% satisfaction from her, you don't even think of, I know the phone left for there. You buy a phone left for there. Say for any cover. Before you are aware, you know, at times I do tell sisters, you win the heart of your husband with your characters, not with your certificate. You are a graduate and a graduate. Not with your vocabularies, not with your arrogance, not with your lack of respect for the husband. With your what? Good characters. Khadija won the heart of the prophet through her what? Her character and humility. Very humble woman. So many women are very arrogant these days. Except very few. I'm not saying all women. Especially we that we come through this Western education, that thing has planted arrogance in us. Whereby you are not ready to be subservient to your husband. You are not ready to be obedient to your husband. You need to change. Love of Allah. Love of who? Allah. And the author is said, when we are talking of love, what do we really mean by the concept? He said it may be difficult to define what love is. Are we together now? But once you love someone, that love will captivate your heart. It grips you. It moves you, and you are prepared to do anything for the sake of that love. Yes or no? You know, at times, you enter the car to the next one. Hey, hello, so today we don't know. Okay, well, kí ló jẹ láàárọ̀ yìí ná. Lecturer sọ wá class. Okay, máa fi ọ̀padà. You can call her like 20 times a day. This was the same man to travel to or call you in the next 48 hours. How am I looking? Alabodi afa mi ti ire di o ti ọmọ pe mi kwa kan so ti ko toilet. Okay, ṣé pẹ̀lú lawyer bi be pupa. But no. You know when you know at times some brothers even don't did something if the wife slaps him, you're for and he just do like this. I know you love me. That's why you slap me. Yes or no? Because of the love. If you love someone, you move closer to the person. You are ready to obey, to do whatever that love commands you. Even that love even leads some people to what? To sinning to Allah. That's why someone narrated what happened to her. I relate to sisters a lot. That's why I know much about them. So many of them, they are falling victims of evils. All in the name of fake love. Real love. Not with sex in their love. No, that is not love. If you see someone, he wants to marry you and is requesting for sex when you are not legally married, know for sure that person does not love you. He only wants to eat his cake and still have it. And to be fair, because I back career, that's why some of these small boys and girls now, you know what they count as love? Sex. Love is not synonymous to sex. You need to understand that. The author, he said, by the time you love something, that thing, it captivates you. It grips you. You know, it will hold you like this. Then it moves you, and you are prepared to do anything for the sake of that love. Yes or no? Yes or no? You know some brothers, tolo yawo, to the pay yawo ekini o, fiancé re, what do you call it? She wants to pay for school fees. Tani afole batalala nlo, sincerely. And the girl later did not even marry him. And he nearly killed himself. Tako ti náwó pọ̀ lórí rẹ̀, ó tó lọ bá yá 250 ní kíní, nígbò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ra láptọ̀pù èmi mọ̀ra fún 65,000, àwọn ọ̀tí owó mímọ̀ ìwọ́gbó ní ìwọ́gbó tí ìwọ́gbó. You know, when we are talking of having profound love for Allah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. If you love Allah, what are you expected to do? What are you expected to do? You go to the mosque. If you are sister, you don't want to come to the mosque, you want to pray in the hostel, you go and do what? Perform your ablutions and pray. Do you know some Muslims, even while inside the mosque, they will still be sinning to Allah. Where they are chatting with opposite sex, they are sending their evils, and they are even doing all sorts of internet romance. Do you know we have internet romance now? Do you agree with me? Internet what? Only that for now we don't have internet sexual intercourse. I pray internet will not even develop to that level. Whereby you stay in Ibadan, and if you have sexual intercourse with someone in Maiduguri, I pray to not lead. But internet romance, whereby people will release. They will release semen. They will be released sexually through internet what? Romance. Where they send pictures, where they use some vulgar utterances, whereby they feel relief. Bí ìgbà tó kàn yín wà lára ẹ̀, gbogbo ara rẹ̀ wà máa múfù, èṣù ti wọnú ara ẹ̀ lọ. Internet romance. We need to be careful. That is what? The fake love we are claiming. But if you really love Allah, you are ready to sacrifice anything for the sake of that love. Your parents, they tell you, don't use the hijab again. It will not be between your parents and who? And who? And Allah. Do you love Allah more than your parents? Do you see Mus'ab bin Umayr? Mus'ab! In fact, that is an epitome of what? Of having love for Allah. Mus'ab bin Umayr. That is the real love for Allah. Then the author, he made mention of one crucial point. I will not be happy if I do not mention it. That really, if you love Allah and you want to develop that love, the love you have for Allah, you don't need to retire. You know, at times, by the time you love someone now, let's say this boyfriend, girlfriend, or your fiancé, as normally do, there are sometimes you are writing exam, whereby you switch off your phone. Especially you medical students, you know the way you do when you are writing your exams. I don't know the way you do it, but I know when I was at the University of Ilorin, those medical students there, you see some of them now, sincerely only to observe Salat, even though nafila at times, from library. In fact, some of them will not even eat. They will not prepare food. They will only buy maybe bread, snacks. Because the time they will use to prepare food, will still consume their what? Their time. Just because they want to read, and these are brothers, Muslims, that they know they will not cheat. The way others, they will be doing. Do you get it now? Will you think of one girlfriend then, when you have even switched off your phone? Can you come stop me? First class, Monle. Do you get it? I don't want to have carry down, not even carry over this time around. Carry to dustbin. You know what you are now doing now? And let us zoom after 48 hours. Nothing. You now call her. She did not even pick it. You did not even call me. You know, there are some times that love, you feel relaxed, or you lost your father. Do you think about you that you have just lost your father? Will you think of one girl that time? Níbi tó ti ń sọkún, tí gbogbo eyín rẹ̀ ti fẹ́ ká tán, tójú rẹ̀ ti pupa bí ojú àmú sìgá. Àfáà ẹ má sọkún mọ́. Oh, wallahi, my father. Oh, wallahi. He has done a lot in my life. You know, will you think of one fiancé somewhere? But when we are talking of love for Allah, no retirement, no relaxation. Your father dies. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah will understand. Say, you are the one that killed my father. I will not pray today. No, you go and worship Allah. Your father died. Ramadan 1. Ramadan what? Ramadan 2. Allah, you need to understand. My mother said, no, Allah, you need to understand. You need to let me retire from fasting. What kind of fasting is that now? Please, that is love for what? For who? Allah. No matter whatever happens to you, if you want that love to be developing, you don't need to relax. You don't need to retire. From time to time, you show your love for who? For your Creator. While in the classroom, you show your love for Allah. While in your home, you show your love for Allah. You are in your hostel, your love for Allah. Inside the mosque, your love for Allah. Inside the library, love for who? Allah. Let us take note of these aspects. Because of the time, let me leave all this. The author, he made mention of something here that I love, and we need to take note of it. The issue of Hanafiya, becoming Hanif. You know Prophet Ibrahim, Allah called him Kana Hanifan Musliman. Kana Hanifan Musliman. Who is Hanif? Who is Hanif? Someone is very Hanif here. Yes, that's your good name. You know Prophet Ibrahim, Hanif. Hanif is someone who worships Allah alone, who doesn't associate partners with Allah, who has profound love for Allah, who holds tenaciously to Allah, who strive on the path of Allah. You know, this Hanafiya, this Hanif, the example, the perfect example was who? Prophet Ibrahim. When you are relating with Allah, you need to be like Prophet Ibrahim. Do you know meaning? His parents, they wanted to divert his attention from Allah to idol worshiping. Are we together? They wanted to prevent him from worshiping Allah, and he insisted that I will remain Hanif. I will remain Hanif. Someone who believes in the oneness of Allah, who worships Allah alone, who inclines to Allah, who does everything for the sake of Allah and who loves Allah profoundly. Do you know what happened to Prophet Ibrahim? They nearly burnt him. Yes or no? Do you agree with me? Kulna ya naru kuni baridan wa salaman ala Ibrahim wa aradu bihi kaidan fajalnahu al-akhsarin. Another verse, I don't know Nasfali. That is why in Surah Al-An'am, as brought by the author, Kul inna salati wa nusuki wa mayaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. This is hadith. Someone whose prayer, whose act of worship, whose living and dying, everything is for Allah. Whatever you are doing is for Allah alone. That is Hanif. Not for human being. That is perfect Islam for you. Are we together? Because of the time. Author made mention of something here that we need to focus on it. It's one of the problems we're having in the contemporary time. Practicing what you preach. If you want, that is page 71. It's a very cogent point. In fact, when I was reading this book, this aspect, I need to ponder over it, that even Rashid Ashi, you need to fear Allah. I'm saying it publicly here in the mosque of UCH. Even some of us that we do deliver lectures, if Allah put us into thorough account, our final abode may be hellfire. Is it all bet as the ethics? If you are invited to speak on any issue, even if you yourself you are not practicing it, you must tell the audience. If you fail to do that, Allah will query you the hereafter. Please, are we together? Ìwọ tó ń gbọ́ wá sí náà, is it all the lectures you listen to that you implement? Ẹ̀jẹ̀ àfọlọ́ gbọ́ta lẹ́yìn bá àfọlọ́ ti sáà mọ̀ tí ó sọ pé practicing what you preach. You know what I've observed? Let me tell you something. By the time you preach, people want to take you as role model. They will now be monitoring you. Are you a worthy role model? You know, even you as a student, among your lecturers, you know some who are role models, yes or no? You know some, I will never be like you're talking to you, that one is sad. I will never, don't let it even be like that lecturer. I wrote one of my books, Living by Anawawi's 40 Prophetic Traditions. I dedicated the book to one of my lecturers, Professor Sedai Oseni, Imam and Waziri of Auchi. Professor Hussein, I know what he contributed to my life when I was a student in University of Illinois. I dedicated a whole book. I can say it anywhere. He is the only lecturer in Illinois that I've ever dedicated a book to. And I have my reasons. If you want to know my people who knew what happened there in Illinois, they knew why I dedicated a book. When some lecturers, they nearly destroyed me and my career. All because of religious issues. They nearly destroyed me. Some people will go and tell them fallacies. What we have never said, they will go and give them rumors. They will not even verify. They nearly destroy me. And you know the formula they used? When I was in final year, that is not carry over, it's what? Spill over. Spill to toilet, spill to dustbin. They wanted to put me in what? In soccer, that I will never be able to raise my head again. It was this Professor Allah used to rescue us. I knew what he did. And Allah is even doing good for his own children. I know one of the children in Malaysia now, who is my friend, who is now even very close to Professor. How's your professor now? I dedicated a book to him. Why? Why? Because I know what I learned from him. Now, if you are now preaching and you are acting contrary to what you are preaching, you are doing more efforts to your da'wah. And that is the problem we are having here in the world, not only in Nigeria. We have so many orators. We have so many speakers. We have so many preachers. but few are those who are worthy of emulation. Few are those who practice what they say. Few are those whose preaching is in line with what they do. The author, he made mention that when we are talking of true Iman, that is the one which resides in your hearts, in your shapes, in your lives, and finds acceptance with Allah. Is always differentiated in the Quran from outward legal Islam. Let us understand this. You know, outwardly, some Muslims, they are there, but inwardly, they are not there. And that's what the author of this book is trying to call our attention to. Self-development, spiritual. Let me tell you what the author is saying. By outward, we have beards. Sabela Fayo, see the trousers. Needs to sack. I laugh at some people. Beard, needs to sack. Alhamdulillah. Only that cannot make you to be a good Muslim. It's part of Sunnah. They are not the word, the encyclopedia of religion. That's not everything about religion. Have you not seen brothers with some of these outward appearances? We are not ordered to be monitoring people's secrets or hidden things. I have seen with my naked eyes brothers with nesusak, with beards, even with turban, who stole our properties at Arishekola Mosque during Itikaf 2 years ago. People who are in Itikaf, they knew what I'm saying. The brother was in nesusak, was in bed, even put on turban, and he stole our properties like phones and so many other things, and he was caught. Okay, with his beard and his susak now, that shows a good Muslim has come. Tell me now, what of if someone has beard and his susak and is a court guy in the university? Or he has affiliation with Sheikh. Is that a good Muslim? Please, are we together? Don't deceive people with outward appearance alone. I was talking about a sister the other time. I didn't want to go deeper. Wallahi. I swear by Allah, part of what I saw in the chatting of that sister with the brother, may Allah forgive me and forgive the sister. It's not something that one should be saying publicly. One of which is the issue of sex. By the time you are discussing sex with someone you are not legally married to, something is wrong with you. Even someone is even talking about, and even if a woman asks me, I want to ask a question, and if a woman asks, can you accept that? I will not answer. This woman lacks modesty. There are some questions, if you want to ask, by the time you write it, do you get it now? The way you will ask the question will show that you have modesty. By the time certain things are not to be called directly like that, to show you are modest. You know when Prophet Salam wanted to explain the issue of ritual bath for a woman, Prophet Salam wanted to talk about something like vagina. You know the way you do it like this. The woman did not go to Aisha as a modest prophet. Even when you are relating with, that's why some brothers, they lack that approach. They don't understand which kind of dawah you are doing. You are stopping sisters. Like someone who was one of my female students. Dawah wèrè wo nìyẹn, òun pa àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ lóru, ká máa jí tàjúdù, Ọlọ́run rán ọkọ̀ ojú wọn fún tàjúdù. Salaam alaikum. Sister Samson is brother in Phoenix. I want to know whether you have woken up for tàjúdù tonight. Tomorrow is Thursday, try to fast. Sani ọmọ ọlọ́mọ láàmú kọ́ máa pè lórí fóònù lóru. Dawah kọ́ yẹn èṣù nìyẹn. O ti fẹ́ máa àlá èṣù. I will never do that in my life. How will I be calling a girl who is not my wife or my younger sister? Even my younger, I don't do that to them. How will I be stopping them? Say it again, say it tajidu, say it kakafi lo nejima. Oh, if I can't call you a lolongo, because no why too far la. Go straight. And they get dawa, they say dawa with him. No, don't do that to. Ask my, if I hear you that it, I don't do that to them. Brother, can you sukwa honey? Dáwà wèrè wo nìyẹn, ṣé dáwà súnà náà nìyẹn, kọmọdà àwọn olóòmọ láàmù àwọn obìnrin kan bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ lóru, ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn táàtì lóru, àdánwò nìyẹn náà. We need to be careful. By the time we are preaching, please let us try to do what? To implement what we are what we are preaching. Then, under this issue, the author, he brought Quran chapter 49, verse 14, Quran chapter 5, verse 21, which time will not permit to read. All these proofs the author brought. The author said it here, that if you are preaching something, like the issue of Salat now, if you are a preacher, you yourself, you don't perform Salat on time, is it ideal? People are watching you. Amiru ọmọ tí dìde lọ kírun ẹ̀rí fóònù Amiru náà ní ẹ̀rí wípé píṣọ obìnrin lọ́kàn orí kí náà fi ṣe kíní ní screen saver ni. Do you know some people, if you do a particular evil, they will see it as something lawful because of your what? Lofty place in their heart. They see it as if whatever you have done is what? Is sunnah. That is why at times, when you do something wrong, please tell people, Allah forgive me, until say you are like or down. Let me give you an instance now. You are going. Let us assume you have injury on your right hand, and people do not know that, but you know you can't use your right hand to hold something. But all your fingers are okay. But you know maybe you have a crack, or what do you do, doctor? What do you want to call it? Is a problem. You get it now. Someone now sees you using your left hand to take pure water. Or what just tell you more? Secretary, you know you have tried yourself. People will not take you as one like that. Please let us take note of that. La ilaha illallah. The author, he brought so many things that serve as obstacles, as impediments in holding on to Allah. Please let us take note of this. Number one, pride. That is al-kibru wal-ujbu, pride and arrogance. Our Prophet has already said it, according to a hadith of Muslim brought by the author himself, that no one will be admitted into paradise who has even a tiny grain of pride in his heart. La yadkhulu al-jannah man kana fi qalbihi mithqalu dharra min al-kibr. You know, arrogance, pride at times, it deprives some people from holding on to Allah the way they are ought to do it. Like this issue of kibr, let me explain ways in which it can come. You know, at times, when you are told, this is what Allah wants, this is what the Prophet wants, someone like me, fine by, graduate, how will I be doing this? People will say this, people will say that. Do you know, Shaitan, it is pride that made him not to prostrate Prophet Adam, yes or no? Allah even said it. Abba was tekibaro. Abba, he was very arrogant. He was displaying his arrogance before Allah. That's how he became the accused, the outcast. Are we together? Please, let us take note. As Muslims, we need to move away from arrogance and what? And pride. And nifaq, hypocrisy, is another thing. In fact, we need to elaborate on this, only that there is no time. The author, he called it evil. He said another evil that destroys all the believers. All that the believers achieved, or is trying to achieve, is what? Is nifaq. You, as you are trying to gain your spiritual strength, to develop yourself spiritually, nifaq can destroy it. By the time you are doing things for show off, not for Allah, you do Islam partly. You still want to be relevant in the campus. Partly Islam. Partly what? Partly kufr. partly sunnah, partly bidah. When you are in the mosque, you put on hijab. People will say, tẹ̀bárí sísá yẹn tó lò jáàbù aláì, but sísá yẹn dé usage. You don't know. You don't know it's the same sister that put on patalasan during the day. You get it now? She wants to show to other girls, I'm still part of you. I go fashion. She still wants to show to you in the mosque, I'm a good Muslim man. One will affect one. That's what's affecting one of my female students. Sincerely, affecting her seriously. This is a girl that put on black, complete hijab with glove on her hands, with socks, when she's coming to Ileke. And the same girl that you are doing so many evils while in school, or while with some other people. In the Ileke, you think, àwọn ẹni Ọlọ́run ti tán. In other place, àwọn ẹni Ọlọ́run rẹ̀, àwọn ẹni èṣù rẹ̀. The same thing that happens to some brother when they are with the brother there, and when they are in the eating place. Imagine someone, a brother, impregnating a girl and telling her to go and abort. Will you feel happy when you hear something like that? Will you feel happy? Yeah, congrats. You will not feel happy. Will you feel happy when you see a Muslim brother in the mosque and the same brother among the cultists? Don't you have our brothers among the cultists? Muslim brothers who pray in the mosque among the cultists. The same brother who distributes envelope of jihad week and nation week is the same brother carrying the banner of bonfire of SUG. You get it now? The same brother when they are watching football of tension and saying, hey, go! The same brother, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That is hypocrisy, nifaq. And the author brought one hadith from Musnad Imam Ahmad that whoever prays to show off, he is idolater. Is a what? Is unbeliever. For he makes a God beside Allah. He has associated another partner with who? With Allah. Can you see the info of nifaq? You are, and you know the munafiqun, Allah gave them a chapter, and so many things happen to them. Only that there is no time. If you are among this kind of people, it affects you. Let us take from it. It affects our relationship with who? With Allah. Pessimism is there. You know, by the time you as a Muslim, if anything happens to you now, you feel like there is no hope. I don't think so. They call it al-qunut. Al-qunut min rahmatillah. And Allah has warned us, la taqnatu min rahmatillah. Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Some people, they are pessimistic. They will feel like maybe they have committed some sins in the past or in their jahiliyyah. They feel like Allah will never forgive them. It affects your relationship with Allah. As Muslims, you need to be hopeful that Allah will forgive you. You have aborted 200 times. Just go and repent from Allah. Allah is here to forgive you, Allah. You have killed so many people. Repent. Allah is here to forgive you. And even if some afflictions happen to you, you are afflicted with calamities, don't lose hope. Still have your hope in Allah, that Allah is there. Uncontrollable anger, al-ghadabu shadid. It affects uncontrollable what? Anger. You know a companion who came to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam advised him, la taghdab, do not get angry easily. By the time you get angry too much, it affects your relationship with Allah. Do you know anger is from who? From shaitan. That shows you have satanic network in you. And you need to disnetwork that satanic network. By what? By always being patient, by always doing adhkar, by always observing ablution. These are some of the things that will assist you. Now, let us move to the issue of abuse of the tongue. the way we use our tongue can affect our relationship with our Creator, Allah. You know, this tongue alone, majority of people that will enter hellfire, their tongue will be the cause, according to Hadith. Where Prophet Sallam, he had the tongue of a companion. Are we together now? By the time you talk, Allah may be angry with you. What are you saying? Is it something that is pleased to Allah or something that Allah doesn't love? You need to take note of this. On this issue of our tongue now, it is the tongue we use to backbite, to curse people. Is the same tongue. By the time you are telling lies, the same tongue. By the time you are chanting music, you know, some people inside the toilet, they will still be singing. This our tongue, let us be conscious of the way we use it. Use it to read Quran. Use it to admonish people. Use it to observe Salat. Use it to do adhkar. Use it for beneficial things. Please, our tongue is one of the things that affects our relationship with Allah. And the author, he called it danger. What's our tongue? It's a danger. It's one of the dangers we need to be careful of. We should be careful of how we use it, because it leads so many people to where? To hell. And the author mentioned something like lying, slandering, backbiting, obscene utterances. We need to be careful of all this because of the time. Lustful sexual passion. This number 6 alone. When I was going through this book, so many things came to my heart. You know what I was thinking? Yesterday was Thursday. I was addressing some of my students in secondary school, in SS2, around 20 students. We were discussing the concept of nikah. You know, at times, in the olden days, I normally feel like there are certain issues we don't need to discuss with those small boys and girls. Later, I changed my opinion. We need to discuss even the issue of sex with them, but Islamic perspective, not that go and do sex. We need to let them know the evils therein, the benefit if it is done legally. Do you know what happened in our junior school that I needed the other time? SS1 female students, out of 300, only 38 were virgins. SS1 girls of 12, 13, 14 years, there are no more virgins. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. By the time you reach NCE, see the percentage. By the time you go to ND, you go to university. By the time you come to people who are even studying medicine now, it's only some of you who are God-fearing. Let me tell you the fact. You know the same period, you know the drug for abortion, you know the one that for precaution, the one for caution, and the one for caution. You know everything. You know, I have someone in my family, Tom Akabalo will call auxiliary nurse. He will never support. Especially female. The daughters, she will never. He said, "Our mama send you ni, our mama nurse there, one say what ni, one thing mo go that be send you mama tell me or concern nurse you." I'm not saying all of you. Do you agree some people they do that? Well, like they do it. The issue of lustful sexual passions is one of the evils, one of the dangers that affect our relationship with who? With Allah. It's a great impediment, a great obstacle. You know, according to the author, he said sex is a powerful driving force that Allah has blessed us with. That's why in the Quran, Surah 2 verse 30, Allah says, and you tell the women to guard their what? Their sex. They should guard against it. That is, they should not embark on illicit sexual acts. You know in Surah Al-Isra, Quran chapter 17 verse 32, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Do not come near zina. For it is a what? Fullness and an evil way. Now, in this contemporary time of ours, one of the cheapest cheapest evils is illegal sexual act. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Everywhere you go, pictures of girls. They want to advertise microphone. How many women hold microphones? Women. They want to advertise. Even there was a, just call customer care of Glow or MTN Salad. Why women? Are they the most brilliant in the country? We don't have men who can speak correct English. You're welcome. This is Glow customer care. You are welcome. This is Rashid Hashim speaking English, correct English with you. How can I help you? They have mission. They want to corrupt us. Ẹ tó pe customer care, obìnrin lẹ́tù máa gbóhùn rẹ̀, obìnrin aṣẹ́wó. You call Glow, obìnrin, MTN, obìnrin, Eti Salati, obìnrin, Fisa phone, obìnrin, gbogbo wọn obìnrin, orí yẹn àdàrú ni. Ẹ fẹ́ bá yàtọ̀ nù wá jẹ́ ni olórí ibu nìyí ni, a tún fún yín lówó ẹ tó fẹ́ borí ẹ tó fẹ́ kó aṣọ lórí ibu. Kí ló dé gan-an? Wallahi, fornication is very easy to commit in this country. Where a boy, a man, will be boasting that I've deflowered 40 girls. Where some girls, they can't even count the number of men who had sex with them in their life. Alhamdulillah, I do say it. Not that I'm just thanking Allah, the way Allah has made my life. Alhamdulillah, 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 wallahi. Apart from my only legally married wife that I have now, wallahi, it never happened to me to have sexual intercourse with any woman in my life. And I pray to Allah that Allah should never make it possible for me till I will die. Except if I marry second wife. I'm planning my second wife now very soon. This one is inshallah. So my marriage has clocked 11, 12 years now. Probably before the end of this year, before Ramadan, for the 17th, inshallah, I'm planning for second wife. I think that is better for me than fornicating around. What will I benefit from fornicating around? So can you afford us to see? Overwork. Kafila tí mo wó látàǹjẹ tare. Avoid ya change was. As we are saying, auto work. Romake. Wala diloni. You will be free. That's what's affecting some of us. Gbogbo àwọn obìnrin jálàbí wọn wà ní súná ọmọ wọn ti bá wọn sọ. Gbogbo àwọn obìnrin tó bá ìṣègùn wa wọ́n ti wó wọn láta. Some are fast, they can't even count the number of women they have sex with. How many of you read Punch last week? In one affair, Lukmano in Lagos. You read it I read it in the Punch. He has been having sex with one legally married woman for more than 2 years. He even threatened to kill the woman if the woman refused the secret to the husband. He even made an attempt to rape the daughter of that woman. He said, Lukman, that is Shaitan Lukman. Please, this thing I'm saying, as human beings, you need to be careful. You need to do the right thing at the right time. Instead of being engulfed in your sexual and lustful sexual passion, go for marriage. Go for what? And the author, he now gave some of the advice given by the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, number 1, we should seek to get married if we are in a position to do so. That is, ya mashara shabab, man istata'a minkum al-ba'ata falyatazawwaj. That was the first thing the author gave us an advice. What is that advice? Get married. And some people, they are not ripe for marriage, but they are ripe for illegal sexual relationship. Something is wrong with you. Shaitan wants to destroy your career. Number 2, we should strive to control all the parts of our body, not just our genitals from zina or fornication. All parts of our body. Do you know why the author has said this? It is impossible to embark on sexual intercourse. Something will precede. You look at her, you romance her, you kiss her, you hug her. It all affects so many brothers that can say long courtship to the end. It's a level. ọ̀rọ̀ lásán ò ní tó mọ́ yóò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ká máa kíìsì ara wa ká máa fọ́ kara wa tó bá yá kò ní tó mọ́ ká máa romance tó bá yá ká máa dọ́gbọ́n fi nira wọn tó bá yá ká tiẹ̀ fẹ́ kan wọlé gan tó bá yá ká máa abọ́ọ̀tì it's levels. Shaitan will just be whispering to your heart to commit evils. And number 3, we should avoid looking at members of the opposite sex with desire. Binadhra shahawa nìyẹn. You know, ibi tá dánwò ti dénú gbogbo ẹ̀yin obìnrin tẹ́ ń gbéra ní sórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀rọ ògbó wájú ọlọ́run. Gbogbo ọkùnrin tí ọmọ wọ̀ pé wàláì sísá ọlọ́run parí iṣẹ́ ẹ̀wì tí ẹ̀ bó ṣe fẹ́lẹ́ lásán. Ẹ̀wù gbáya rẹ̀ ilé ẹ̀rù rèé. Ọlọ́run dáhùn ilé ìdá aláyé. What of if you remove your picture? Do you know another evil? Even wàláì obìnrin kọ́lọ̀ ọjọ́ ẹgbọ́n o. Mo wulẹ̀ upload rárá. Do you know what happened recently to someone I know? Wallahi, a married Muslim star who is using hijab. One of our classmates in the school, in one of the school in Oyo State here, one of the tertiary institutions in Oyo State, the sister uploaded one of her pictures with hijab on WhatsApp. And her classmate, who was a man, downloaded the picture. Later, she removed the picture. One day, they were now discussing, do you remember that sister? She's married. People are now doubting. Say, Sister Alagbaja, no, don't buy too light there. I want to light in the set you want now. So you can't sleep. You can't even, you know, Wallahi, you know the next thing. Wallahi, I was in that scene. He brought out his phone. That brother, he's a Muslim brother. Picture rẹ̀ mẹ́ lórí fóònù mi. This is my cosmate. Àìsàn bẹ̀lẹ̀ mi ẹ̀. Fóònù obìnrin wọ́n ṣe ọmọ tí mo ti ń sọ yìí wàláhì tẹ́ bá rí picture lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì bí ìgbà tí èso ọmọ Nàìjíríà bí ọmọ Saudi àwọn Amẹ́ríkà tó ló pupa. Irú àti bó ṣe yọ fóònù nù. Yes, she's the one. Sọ́wọ́n náà ni. Nǹkan ṣe ọ́ fóònù yàwó tó. And this is a sister tó ń rò pé òun ti remove fóònù kó ní kéde o orí nẹ́ẹ̀tì. Àwọn táìsàn bẹ̀lẹ̀ mi wọ́n tán dọ́gbọ́n fi ọ́ yọ fà. And the brother I'm talking about, he had not married. Ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan tí èṣù bá jẹ sí lórí tó bá tún wò pé Ọlọ́run parí ṣe sára ọmọbìnrin yìí ó wàláhì ọmọ ló dàbí èbò áńgẹ́lì yìí yóò tún fi ara tún yóò fi calm down díẹ̀ ọ̀gẹ́tì ní ìsìn nǹkan ṣe wọ́n náà nù. You think you have removed your picture and some people have already downloaded it. They have saved it. It's just this time that you can save it. Please let us be careful. This is the end of chapter 3 in the book relating to Allah's messenger. To round it off, I said it the other time. Sincerely, may Allah reward this author. He had summarized so many things we need to understand. This chapter 4, we talked about Sunnah, how to relate to the Prophet of Allah. Do you get it now? Some guidelines in studying the Sunnah, that's the summary. Then chapter 5 is on how to spend on Allah's cause. Whether your sadaqah is small or huge. Then some people that they don't want to spend on Allah's cause because of the love they have for this world. The author emphasized that you need to have love for the hereafter than this world. Are we together now? Chapter 6, if focused on related to Allah's creation, that started from your family, your children, your parents, your fellow Muslims. Even if you are an employer, you have some people working under you. You are the leader, you have followers. How do you relate with them? Your neighbors. You live in a particular area. How are you expected to behave as a Muslim? Then the right of animals. You can't even maltreat animals. And he ended the book with chapter 7, meeting Allah. If you have now discharged all your obligations, how are you going to meet Allah? That is the end of the book. May Allah reward Quran Murad for this great work in the early hours, reflections on spiritual and self-development. Sincerely, as one of the people, I read one comment, those who came earlier, that several times, you may even need to read this book in a year. It's like summary of what you need to develop yourself spiritually. Once you observe, spiritually, you are declining. Get books like this. Read them, especially in a very cool atmosphere, when you are not disturbed, you'll be able to ponder over the meaning. May Allah reward the author and all the Muslim scholars in the world, and may Allah reward each and every one of us for listening to Allah's words. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.